Now, let's talk about the sad thing about the fall into sin. That's our next question as I'm watching the clock. Let's look at Genesis. We'll actually read 15, 16, and 17. Now, it's very important for you to know, because this is going to be important as we talk about the fall into sin. Eve has not yet been created. Eve has not yet been created. This is going to be important. I'll show it to you. So, it's only Adam at this point. Verse 15, the Lord God, took the man, put him in the Garden of Eden, remember everything's sinless and wonderful, to work it and take care of it. Okay. By the way, that shows that work is good. Work becomes a drudgery only after the fall into sin. It becomes a rat race and all that stuff. Okay. And the Lord God commanded the man, you are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat of it, you will surely die. Now, a couple of thoughts right here. This is a test. Okay? This is a test. How do you know if you really love someone or somebody loves you? Okay? This is how Adam and later Eve were going to show their love for God. And so that we do not do what human beings normally do and get real harsh and judgmental with God, thinking, well, why did he give this test and everything? Okay? It's only one thing. This is not a great burden, is it? He didn't lay down a book with 747 rules and say, if you break one, you're in trouble. No, what was it? One. See, but the devil's going to do that. The devil's going to paint God as a mean old God. But this was a test for Adam. And let me kind of paraphrase what it all says as we go through this. God says, Adam, look at what I've made. Yeah, this is great. This is sinless, perfect, no sin, no death. Everything's wonderful. Okay? And this is your garden. You can eat of all the trees, etc., etc., etc. Hey, by the way, Adam and Eve and those were originally vegetarians. It's only after Noah came down after the flood that God gave permission to eat meat. So he can eat of all the stuff in the garden, but one tree. Don't eat of that tree. Well, why not? That's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. What does that mean? You see that tree, Adam? Yeah, I see it. That tree represents you rejecting me. Oh, what do you mean? Because you see, I'm your God, Adam. I'll tell you what's good and evil. I'll tell you what's right and wrong. You listen to me. I'm your God who loves you and gave you all this. If you go eat of that tree over there, that means you reject me. It means you want to decide what's good and evil. You want to decide what is right and wrong. I hope all of you see where this is all going already, can't you? Don't do that. Because if you want to decide on your own, independent of me, what's right and wrong, good and evil, you will die. And the reason for that is because God is the only source of life. We were talking about Yahweh before the class. Yahweh is a word for God. Some of you know that. It means I am. God is the only one who exists. Everything else is what? Created. And that means God, who is life, is the only source of life. If you have a relationship with God, you have life. If you don't have a relationship with God, you've got death, and we'll define that as physical, spiritual, and eternal. He says, don't go there, because if you reject me, the source of life, you'll die.